Welcome, everybody. Today I'm talking with Najva Sol. Najva has over 12 years of experience in community building, brand storytelling, and digital strategy. She's currently a mentor for Built by Girls and head of product and marketing at Earnest Capital, where she runs an invite-only remote community of founders building calm, profitable, sustainable companies. Najva, thank you for joining us on the podcast. We're thrilled to have you here to talk all things community.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure, and I'm excited to dig into it today.
Awesome. You're not a developer, but you've built several online communities using no-code tools like MemberSpace. What have you learned from that, and what advice do you have for our audience?
Oh, yeah. Shout out MemberSpace. Thank you guys so much for making so many things easier. I think what's really fun about this no-code tool trend, I want to say, is that they're not new. No-code tools have been around for quite a while, but they've been given an incredible rebrand, and they've been given an identity that actually pulls them together, so you can like look across a bunch of different tools and say, oh, these are all no-code tools, from anything from like a live journal, like was a no-code tool to whatever now, but we didn't call it that, right? So it's this really nice, but it is tools that you can use across the internet that don't require you to be a coder. And there's more and more and more of those now. The complexity of what you can do with that code on the internet is phenomenal compared to what it was a few years ago. And I think that some of it can be a little intimidating. I know that like I personally was super intimidated by Zapier for reasons that I don't understand, but it just like API keys and stuff, it felt overwhelming. But the what if you have, there's not only is there MakerPad that can help you find the right ones for you, but also your friend Google. But Zapier, Airtable, they help you automate processes. They help you keep track of things outside of a Google Sheet. Learning a little bit about those things could completely change the way that you do your community work. Notion or some kind of like similar tool like Tetra or Coda helps you build those internal docs and processes. And what ultimately it allows you to do is like scale yourself. One of the biggest things that happens in community is that there's so much to do. There's the infrastructure and the container that you're trying to build digitally, but then there's also the thing that's most important. Like most community builders, the reason that they're doing this work is because they love people and they love connecting to people. And everything that no code tools can do is to make it less, to take work off your plate so that you can continue to do the thing that you are most specifically good at, which is connect with people. You cannot automate authentic connection, but you can automate everything else, or like try to at least make it like 30% easier on yourself. So for example, we used to have to transcribe things or do insights and takeaways. We have now Descript as an amazing tool. You literally delete the word it's deleted from the like in a transcript, it deletes from the audio and it deletes from the video. Wow, you just saved so much time. You don't have to learn how to video edit to be a community builder. That's amazing. Streamable is like the fastest video upload tool I've ever seen. You don't have to waste time on that. Amazing. Like it's like a one-click upload. Donut will introduce your members to each other. It might not be right for every community, but in Slack, it can be a game changer. Great, now you can focus on like actually being in the donut, and the half an hour that you might have spent that week matching people, like being like, you guys should meet. You can now actually sit down and have a conversation with someone. We have a Zap for when so we have people come in or apply, and then once I say like I've approved in Airtable, it's where like all their forms directly fill into Airtable. Once they've been approved, there's a Zap that goes on, or like that I've sent that automates an email inviting them to the community and inviting the finished payment as soon as I change their status. And then I can go look at that sheet and at any moment see who actually finished their thing. So I can see, here's the percentage of people who applied, here's the percentage of the people that I accepted, here's the percentage of people who actually like signed up. And then we even have like, here's the percentage of people who actually signed up for Slack. And we have tools that allow me to see all of that, mixed panel, segment, and you don't need it to be super complex, but find those like 3 or 4 things that you do over and over and over that are taking up the most of your time and not delivering ultimately like value to your community. Um, and see if you can sort of virtually scale yourself by finding an automated process that probably exists. There's so many more resources now than there were, and take the front load the time. Most of those take a little bit more time to set up. So give yourself time to learn it and set it up properly, and it's gonna pay like dividends in the future. So that's my spiel on no code for your community.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it, Najva. Would you like to share any resources or recommendations for folks that are trying to learn more about Founder Summit?
Um, yeah, I mean, you can just go to our site. It's in the process of being updated, so foundersummit.co. Feel free to check out our mastermind sprint. We're aiming to run those a few times a year, so there's a nice tab that'll give you the full rundown, but there's sort of mentor-led peer groups for bootstrappers or sort of column companies. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Founder Summit.